Waxwell is finally here in Dandy's world, and after seeing everything that came with this update, this new Toon might be much more interesting than we originally expected. His design, his personality, his ability, his connection to other Toons, and especially the mechanics surrounding Twisted Waxwell, are already raising a lot of questions. And if you thought Waxwell was just another new Toon, there are already several clues suggesting that there is much more going on with him. First of all, Waxwell has officially arrived, and yes, he is actually purple. Before the update, there was already a video showing him, and a lot of players were trying to figure out exactly what his final design would look like. Now that he is finally available, we can see him in the game and get a much better idea of what kind of character he really is. Waxwell is a rare Toon, and unlocking him is not going to be cheap. You need 3,500 ichor, which makes him one of the most expensive rare Toons available. On top of that, you need 50% research on Waxwell and 3 mastery missions completed for Goob. So if you were planning on getting Waxwell immediately, there is already some work you need to do before you can add him to your collection, and his stats make his playstyle even more interesting. Waxwell has 5 stars in speed, which immediately makes him stand out. He also has a lot of skill check potential, but there is a major downside. His extraction speed is not particularly impressive, and he gets tired very quickly. So even though Waxwell can move quickly and perform well in certain situations, you cannot simply play him like a standard fast Toon and expect everything to work perfectly. But the most interesting part is definitely his ability. Waxwell has an ability connected to fire. When activated, he lights his flame and removes his Tired 2 debuff for a limited amount of time. The effect lasts for 10 seconds, giving Waxwell a temporary boost and allowing him to keep moving without being held back by that debuff. But that is not the only thing the flame does. While Waxwell's flame is active, he leaves a trail behind him as he moves. Other Toons who walk through that trail can receive the lit buff, and this is where Waxwell becomes much more interesting as a team-based character. The lit effect allows those nearby Toons to recover their abilities twice as fast for 5 seconds. In other words, Waxwell is not only helping himself, he can create an area that benefits the other players around him, giving the team an opportunity to recover their abilities much faster. There is one important detail, though. The effect does not apply to Waxwell himself. The benefit is designed for the other Toons who step into the trail he leaves behind. This makes his ability feel more like a support mechanic than a simple personal buff, and this could become extremely useful during a difficult run. If Waxwell is moving around the map and leaving his flame trail in the right places, other Toons can take advantage of it and get their abilities back faster. So while his own extraction speed may not be the best, his ability could potentially make him much more valuable to an organized team. But there is another side to Waxwell that makes this update even more interesting: his personality, based on the animation and scenes surrounding him. Waxwell seems to be the kind of Toon who actually enjoys ruining things for everyone else. He appears to be constantly planning something, trying to interfere with what the other Toons are doing, and looking for ways to make their day worse. But there is a funny twist to his personality. It seems like Waxwell's plans almost always end up going wrong. He can try to ruin someone else's day, only for everything to backfire on him. That gives him a personality that feels surprisingly similar to Shrimpo. He has that natural tendency to cause problems, but somehow he ends up being the one suffering the consequence. And this is where the comparisons between Waxwell, Blot, and Shrimpo start becoming really interesting. Visually, Waxwell has some elements that remind players of Blot. His appearance has that strange, somewhat melted and villain-like style, while his personality seems much closer to Shrimpo. He acts like someone who wants to cause trouble just because he can, but he is not necessarily successful at it. Some of his animations make this even more obvious. There are scenes where Waxwell appears to be deliberately trying to sabotage what other Toons are doing. He can interfere with their activities, mess with their plans, and even try to ruin things that are going perfectly well. But somehow, things keep working out anyway. One of the funniest examples is when he tries to interfere with the other Toons' cooking. He adds things that should make the food worse, but somehow the result ends up being better. It is almost like Waxwell is cursed to fail at being a villain, and that could actually explain why his character feels so different from the typical villain archetype. He wants to be a problem. He wants to ruin things, but fate seems to have other plans. There is also a very interesting connection between Waxwell and Goob. In the video that introduced Waxwell, we saw Goob hugging him, which immediately made players wonder what their relationship actually is. Are they friends? Is Goob the only Toon who actually gets along with Waxwell, or is there something deeper going on between them? We do not have a confirmed answer yet, but the fact that Goob is specifically connected to Waxwell through his mastery requirements makes the situation even more interesting. To unlock Waxwell, you need 3 Goob mastery missions, and now we also have scenes showing the 2 of them together. That could simply be a gameplay requirement, but it could also be a small hint about their relationship. Goob is almost the complete opposite of Waxwell. His personality is much more friendly and positive, while Waxwell seems to enjoy causing chaos. So having these 2 characters connected could create a really funny dynamic, and honestly, I want to see their full dialogue. Because if Waxwell really considers Goob a friend, that could tell us a lot about his character. Maybe he is not actually as mean as he looks. Maybe Goob is simply one of the few Toons who can tolerate him. Or maybe Goob is somehow completely unaware that Waxwell is constantly trying to cause problems. There is also another important part of the update that we cannot ignore. Twisted Waxwell. The twisted version is already available to encounter, and his appearance is noticeably different from the regular Toon. He has a strange tail and unusual looking leg, giving him a much more unsettling appearance, but the design itself might not be the most important part. The Twisted Waxwell appears to have a special mechanic involving his flame. There is now a new badge connected specifically to him, and the requirement is to extinguish Twisted Waxwell's flame 10 times. That is a huge clue because it suggests that putting out his flame is not just a visual detail. It is likely an important part of the Twisted's actual gameplay mechanic. There is even a new sticker related to Waxwell and another one that appears to reference finding Twisted Waxwell. That makes it seem like players are going to need to pay close attention to his flame during encounters. We still need to fully test the Twisted version to understand exactly how everything works. But the badge requirement already gives us an important piece of information. You are not simply supposed to find Twisted Waxwell, you are supposed to interact with his flame, and that could completely change how players approach his encounter. If the flame has to be extinguished multiple times, there could be a specific timing mechanic involved. Maybe letting the flame remain active for too long creates a bigger problem. Maybe players have to work together to put it out. Or perhaps the flame affects the environment or the players in some way. Right now, we know the badge requires 10 successful extinguishes, but the exact details of the encounter still need to be explored, and that is exactly why Twisted Waxwell might become one of the more interesting Twisted encounters in the game. The regular Waxwell is already built around fire, buffs, and movement. His ability allows him to create a flame trail that benefits other Toons, so it makes perfect sense that his Twisted version would take that same concept and turn it into something dangerous. The developers may have taken the main mechanic of the Toon and transformed it into the core mechanic of his Twisted version. That would also explain why there is so much emphasis on the flame. Another thing that arrived with the update is a collection of new skins, and this update has a very noticeable theme. A lot of the Toons suddenly have darker, almost emo-inspired outfits. Blot has a new look. Yata has a darker style. Gigi has a cherry-themed outfit. Louis has a more colorful skin. And several other Toons receive new cosmetics as well. There are even some outfits that give the characters a much darker appearance compared to their usual design. Gigi's skin is especially cute, with a striped skirt and matching socks. Louis' skin stands out because it is much more colorful compared to some of the darker outfits. And several of the other Toons have little details that make them look like they are part of the same overall theme. It almost feels like this update turned half the cast into emos. And even Rebecca appears to have a skin that fits into the same aesthetic. There are also smaller details hidden throughout the update that could potentially be connected to Waxwell. Some cosmetics seem to have little messages or objects attached to them, which makes you wonder whether Waxwell has something to do with them. But at this point, we should be careful about separating confirmed information from theory. We know Waxwell is here. We know he requires 3,500 ichor, 50% research, and 3 Goob masteries. We know his ability uses a flame and creates a trail that can give other Toons the lit buff. We know Twisted Waxwell has a flame mechanic and that players can earn a badge by extinguishing his flame 10 times. Everything beyond that, including exactly what Waxwell's relationship with Goob means, or whether some of the cosmetics contain hidden lore, is still something we need to investigate. And honestly, that is what makes this update so interesting. Waxwell does not feel like a character that was added just to fill another spot in the roster. His ability introduces a different kind of team utility. His personality gives him a unique role among the Toons, and his Twisted version appears to have an entirely different mechanic. Built around the same fire concept, we also still need to see what kind of interactions Waxwell has with characters like Shrimpo and Goob. If the developers really are building connections between these characters, there could be some interesting lore hidden in their conversations and animation. So now the big question is Waxwell actually worth unlocking? Based on what we know so far, he definitely has potential. His 5-star speed makes him extremely mobile, and his ability can provide a useful benefit to the rest of the team. The biggest drawback is that he gets tired quickly and does not have the strongest extraction speed. That means he probably will not be the perfect Toon for every playstyle. But if you know how to use his ability properly, Waxwell could become much more valuable in a team than his extraction stats suggest. And if you are already working toward unlocking him, make sure you start building that research and completing those Goob masteries now, because the 3,500 ichor requirement is definitely going to take some time. As for Twisted Waxwell, that is where things get even more mysterious. We still need to fully discover his mechanics, figure out exactly how his flame works, and understand why players are specifically being rewarded for extinguishing it 10 times. And that is what we are going after next. So let me know in the comments what you think about Waxwell. Do you think he is actually a good Toon, or do you think his low extraction speed and fast exhaustion make him weaker than he looks? And what do you think about his connection with Goob? Do you think they are actually friends, or is there something else going on? If you enjoyed this video and want more Dandy's World news, updates, secrets, and Toon guides, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps the channel grow and lets me know that you want to see more videos like this, and make sure you stay tuned, because next we are going after Twisted Waxwell. We are going to figure out exactly how his flame mechanic works, what you need to do to deal with him, and how you can get the research you need for Waxwell as quickly as possible. There is definitely more to discover in this update, and I will be covering it all. So subscribe, turn on notifications, and I will see you in the next video.